Hi, I'm Kathie Griley. I'm the Vice President of Chapter Relations for the California Restaurant Association. And today we have two distinguished CRA members from our Fresno Central Valley area. We have Bob Farrar and Tom Ferdinandi, both really long-term members of the association. So, Bob, can you tell us a little bit about your history with the California Restaurant Association? Then we'll skip over to you, Tom.
Well, I started in 1977 and we were dealing with, I had one of the lead restaurants in town. We were dealing with, city ordinances changing. In those days, mothers against drunk drivers, which I didn't disagree with, although I had one of the most vibrant bars in the valley. We decided to start a local chapter for the Restaurant Association in the early 80s. We needed to have a statewide presence that could help our local. We're a little bit isolated in Fresno. We've got LA to our south and San Francisco to our west, Sacramento to our north, and we're the fifth largest city in California. So we needed some backbone. We needed some help. And so we started that chapter. And I was president for 4 years. Tom was president also, who you'll hear from in a minute. The chapter has done great things and it survived. And I believe I was honored just recently at the Best of the Valley Restaurant Awards with Hall of Fame membership. And I was
Congratulations.
I was very taken back by that. That was a wonderful day.
Great. Well, thank you. Tom, you want to tell us a little bit about your history with the California Restaurant Association?
I've been a member since the early 90s. I moved back into town from the Bay Area and went to a event and I saw all these great restaurant tours together. And I said, how can I be part of that? And so that was my first getting to know the CRA. I became a chapter president very soon thereafter. And I've enjoyed it ever since. Have been involved not only with our local chapter as president, as Bob mentioned, but also on the Ed Foundation, which is actually now called the CRA Foundation. And then we also spent some time in the chair position for the big board, as we call it, the CRA. So lots of exposure and proud to be part of not only our local chapter but the state board as well.
Well, we thank you for both of you for your service. You've contributed a lot to the California Restaurant Association. As long-term members, what kind of advice would you give to someone who was potentially thinking about becoming a member? What what would you tell them would be the best reason to join?
I'll just continue on there. I think just learning from my own example, you get the camaraderie of being part of a great group of people. You get to know them, you share best practices, you cry in your spilled milk together. And then it's just a way to really, I think, band together, as Bob mentioned. The original reason why the chapter was formed was, one big powerful voice. We're all speaking together. And as one of the largest employers in the state, the hospitality industry, we need to make sure our voice is heard. And so many restaurateurs, big and small, have enjoyed being members of the CRA. And if you're not now, you should be.
And CRA sends out information as it happens from the state capitol. Our lives are, in very, short demand. We can't research bills going on. We can't just jump in a car and go talk to our representatives in Sacramento so easily. We're running a lot of employees. We have to manufacture food in the building that our customers are going to enjoy that food, and it has to be perfect. So we don't have time management. CRA provides that for us, and that I think is one of the key elements. I got 3 or 4 notices today on different new laws being proposed, and that's invaluable.
It is. I agree with you. We have, our hot bills that go out, which kind of, tells folks what our stance is and whether we were successful in beating that or not, and what's our next steps. And it's funny because the government affairs aspect of the California Restaurant Association is not the sexy part of the association. It's not the best of the valley events and black tie events, but that's really where the change happens. And we do need that support. How could members, the Central Valley is a huge area. So what would be some of your suggestions to folks that are either current members or considering being members? How would they best be able to get involved? Now they'll definitely be connected through, the information that we send out from Sacramento and our newsletters and things like this podcast. But what would your recommendations be on how to get involved?
I think that the greatest involvement is they can choose to participate with chapter meetings. They're on Zoom now. They're easy. You can do them in your back office. You can do them at your home where you can have all those vital discussions with other people. And you want to know the most unique thing. We're all competitors. I serve steak and lobster and Tom serves pizza. But we're competitors for that dinner, that luncheon, and we might not necessarily talk to one another. And California Restaurant Association brings us together to do that actual thing, talk with one another. That's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, as Tom said, cry over spilt milk together.
Yeah. And other
Yeah.
ways to get involved would be on our lobby days, regulatory lobby days, or the actual meeting with our state and local legislators. All real impactful ways to have one voice and express our desires and our issues and our concerns, not only to each other, but to the people that represent us at the state and federal level. One thing I did at the end of last year is I went onto the CRA website and I printed out the white pages that impacted our industry, and there was 58 of them.
Wow.
58 white papers that gave advice, gave interpretation of laws to help us stay in compliance. Stay in compliance with workplace violence, with food safety, with indoor heat illness prevention. All of these things are confusing in their own right, and where the CRA shines and where every member gets their money's worth is out of these white papers to mitigate and protect you from doing something wrong and or not doing something right. One or the other. A simple change to a logo could be impactful. So I think if you're worried about what's the cost and what do I get out of it, well, the friendships Bob attested to, people we've known in the industry forever, but also the ability to protect yourself, to have the CRA be a shield for you, especially from frivolous lawsuits.
Yeah, and I find that even sometimes our members don't remember that they get 15 minutes of free legal advice each month of their membership. We have a group of attorneys that we work with. It's called the CRA Legal Center, and we have a helpline. So, whether you are currently a member or you're thinking about becoming a member, that's really something to consider when you're looking at the membership dues and what the potential value is to you to be a member. Tell either one of you, tell us a little bit about what makes the food service industry in the Central Valley unique.
Well, it's the agricultural capital of the United States. That immediately we make farm to table look like it's going backwards. These are, that's a $38 billion industry. We've got everything going on here. I remember testing ostrich meat and how good it was for you 15 years ago, and yet it really never took hold. But there's so much going on agriculturally here. We bring a lot of people into the valley that are going to go to different recreational areas like Yosemite. It's an hour and 40 minutes away. Skiing in hitting Kings Canyon. So our restaurant industry entertains those people with dinners and at night from the hotel that they stay in. It is a wonderful marriage between agriculture and production and the restaurant industry. Harris Ranch. Harris Ranch is probably one of the largest beef providers in the state of California, if not the largest. Yet, and they've got a hotel and a restaurant there that's out in the middle of you can fly into it. You can drive for an hour from my house and get there. We have these great throughout the valley, these great restaurants that entertain all parts of agriculture. So a lot of research and development goes on here in our kitchens.
Do you have anything you'd like to
I
add to
think to
that?
add to that is also, we don't have the same population density that a Bay Area or Southern California restaurant might have. We're very spread out, farm towns, off of the highways. And so, in order to succeed here, you really have to embed yourself into the community. And so many of our restaurateurs here are so strongly supportive of schools and hospitals and churches and other nonprofits. And not to say that that doesn't happen elsewhere, but it's very meaningful here, especially when you have a population base that is on, it's ag centered and is looking for a very high value experience and high service experience as well. So our restaurant spectrum goes from very high end fine dining and quite a few, as Bob mentioned, test markets here for fast food enterprises. They come to the Central Valley, Bakersfield in particular, to try out new product ideas.
Great. Bob, you mentioned earlier that you were just honored in the Hall of Fame at the Best of the Valley Restaurant Awards dinner. And that's something that the chapter produces, and they do a fantastic job at it.
Thanks.
What have, Tom, I believe you were honored at one point as well.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, I got to get a
Your,
little bit more
your
gray, and then
day's
maybe a
coming.
lifetime achievement.
Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about what that dinner is and why it's important?
Well,
It it's been a great asset and a great team
yeah.
building experience for our industry, and it started out way back. Bob was part of that, and some of the other restaurateurs, and we were averaging about 400 people per dinner. We've grown it to 800 to 1,000. We have great participation from many of our sponsors here, and it's a wonderful way to recognize everyone's successes across the different types of restaurants in the area and celebrate people like Bob, who've been longtime contributors and pioneers in our industry.
And to walk up on a stage and I had no idea I was getting 7 or 8 awards from the United States Congress, the state Senate and legislature, the supervisors, county supervisors, and Bob Farrar Day at the city of Fresno, which is a wonderful thing. I had no idea. I told the guys, "Hey, I didn't bring a truck to take all these awards," and then to speak to 700-800 people that are all from your industry, and a lot of people, because I'm older, didn't they knew maybe of me, but they'd never met me or seen me, and I got 2 standing ovations, and I'm still smiling, and that was
It was a
March
very well
24th.
deserved honor, Bob.
So it really, it made my day, it made my week, it made my quarter, who knows? It was just a wonderful thing, and to be one of the first and in the valley to be in the Hall of Fame is really, really special. Uh, and
Congratulations.
and I hope we continue this. The Best of the Valley Restaurant Awards was a simple idea I got from Sacramento chapter, but we wanted to tweak it, and I think we were short-sighted compared to what it's turned out to be. It's well produced. It now, as Tom said, gets 800 to 1,000 people. It goes fast. It's not a 30 or 40. There's 30 or 40 awards that are given out. to different restaurants, and some are surprises, and the balladina is fantastic. It's just a top-rate event.
It is, and that event is open to the public. So anyone listening to our podcast here, it's produced every year, and the public is welcome to attend and purchase a ticket. And the awards are voted on by the community, so it's not an exclusive thing that's just for CRA members. It's the whole entire community gets to vote on the best of each category. So we invite you all to attend next year. If
Yeah,
you
it's
are
usually in February, March timeframe.
Okay, so as we wrap this up, what would be one piece of advice each of you would give a young up and coming restaurateur in the Central Valley?
Run the other way.
Be aware you're going to be a food manufacturer, and you make your end product in the facility that the customer partakes in. And the best you can be at that food production is very important. I hold a chef's degree. And I hold a high restaurant management degree. Don't stop. Keep doing those things. It'll be changing every week, every day, something new that you'll see. And you can find things in Chicago and New Orleans and San Francisco and bring it to the valley and maybe shape it to fit your customer base. It's the most exciting industry and artistic industry there is.
Thank you.
And I would just add, make sure you're well capitalized. It is a numbers game. Restaurants aren't inexpensive to build these days. So make sure you're well capitalized. And remember that, great food will not forgive poor service, but great service will forgive poor food. So you have to be willing to provide that hospitality that will set you apart from everyone else. There are so many great recipes out there. So many of our broadline distributors are willing to help design recipes and source product for you. But if you can't hit it on the service levels, that'll be the end of the story. And service is what makes the difference for so many restaurants. The food is great, but the service is where you gotta be. And remember, you know, everyone has a family. This is a nighttime business for most part. It's a weekend business. So if you have partners, and family, they need to understand that the hours are not 9 to 5.
That's excellent advice. And, based on your both of your success in the industry, you have figured that out, I think, for me and
Well, I
Ed.
think I think the best thing about the industry is the smile that you see on your customer's face. It is worth everything, all the effort. Making people happy is the name of the game. And this is one of the industries where you have complete control over that whole experience.
Well, we're up out of time right now, but I really, really appreciate your time and your commitment to the industry and to the California Restaurant Association. And again, Bob, congratulations on your Hall of Fame award. And yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Our pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.